The Village of Those Who Wait. Chapter 5. First Part. Once the pair had gone about 3/4 of a mile from town, a chain of rugged mountains and the remains of what appeared to be a factory came into view beneath the sea of clouds. "What's that?" Iriya asked, gesturing with one hand. "Why, it's the ruins of an iron mill," the hoarse voice replied. "Pretty creepy place. If I were a noble, I'd live somewhere like that." "Great idea," the voice said with a mocking laugh. Iriya was glaring at Dee's left hand when she heard. "Dee?" His name repeated over and over, like an echo. Dee turned in a certain direction. Though the voice had seemed to rain down from heaven above, he determined at once where it came from. "Seems someone has business with me. Stay right here." "I'm going to." "I thought you had a previous engagement." Not giving the flummoxed Iriya so much as a backward glance, Dee gave a kick to the flanks of his cyborg horse. Precisely 5 minutes later, he returned. The voice had not ceased calling his name. Dee turned toward the ruined factory. It was Iriya they were after. Still on horseback, he passed through the entranceway. Death filled the sprawling institution. Enormous blast furnaces and conveyor belts for carrying ore had long since stopped operating. And death, in the guise of time, had nestled the whole place under its black wings. Dee searched for a sign of life. Less than 2 seconds later, he found it. Beneath the skylight in the great ceiling hung a room that seemed to serve as some kind of surveillance center, and before it stood figures in green fatigues. There were 2 of them, and between them were Iriya and Mika. "We've got 'em both," the figure on the right called out. "The name's Gaflin Rhoda, bounty hunter, and this here's my partner Rin Chiku, Woody Deathspark to his friends." He pointed to the men on the opposite side of the hostages. "To be perfectly frank, we've got no beef with you, but if we grab the girl, you were sure to follow. So that being the case, we decided to take you out quick. Now be a good boy and die for us." "I'm sorry, Dee." Iriya apologized in a dejected tone. "As soon as you left, they showed up with Mika. They grabbed him from the teacher's place on the way here. We'd been waiting in town since yesterday, so we borrowed ourselves a spy bird and kept an eye on you with a high-def camera from an altitude of about 30,000 feet. We saw you call at the teacher's house and had a real good idea what we were jawing about. Now, I knew using the brat probably wouldn't stop you, but it'd work on the girl, and I reckon the girl would work on you." Drawing a dagger from his belt, Gaflin put it to Iriya's throat. "I'm right, ain't I? If you value their lives, throw down your sword." Dee was gazing at Iriya. The body of the man so sure of his victory jolted faintly. Gaflin looked down at the left side of his chest and the stark needle protruding from it. From the spot on the ground where Dee stood to his own position was a distance of roughly 200 yards as the crow flies. The seasoned bounty hunter hadn't sensed anything as he was run right through the heart, a testament to the skill of the young man known as Dee. Still, the man that Gafflin had called her in was a veteran bounty hunter too. He'd be pinning Mika with one hand, but now he drew the boy nearer, wrapping his arm around Mika's neck, as he should have done from the very start. Or maybe he should put a knife to his hostage the way his partner had. Before the boy's little face turned purple from the constricted flow of blood. Iriya's form sailed into the air above the pair. When she landed without a sound, the bounty hunter's body collapsed at her feet. The dagger, buried in the top of his head, was one Iriya had taken from Gafflin. As Iriya raced over, Mika leapt into her open arms. "You're okay, aren't you?" Mika nodded. At the time of the ceremony at the school, the boy had suddenly grown sleepy in one of the rooms at Laszlo's house. When he woke up, he was being held prisoner in the factory. "Let's go." Taking Mika by the hand, Iriya was just about to walk away when a murderous intent of the fiercest kind prickled the back of her neck. Pushing Mika down and leaping off to the right, Iriya executed a flip before straightening up, at which point the ash-gray figure that had sailed over her head was standing right in front of her. It can't be. Iriya was gripped by a shock akin to terror. Still expressionless, Rinchiku seized the dagger stuck in his head and pulled it free. As if a switch had been thrown, his head sank down into his torso, while at the same time a lump of approximately the same shape jutted from between his thighs. It was the face that had just vanished. No, not just the face, but the entire head, now free from injury. "This is the real me," he said. "What you stabbed was just a growth. It's been a burden to me all my life. But just now it saved my bacon. I can do a few tricks, too. Here's the first." Pulling back in to avoid the dagger Iriya had hurled at it, the true head popped up from the top next. Suddenly it split lengthwise, and a massive quantity of liquid fountained from it. Shooting high into the air, it rained down on both Iriya, who'd made a great leap out of the way, and Mika, who was lying on the ground. The stunned Iriya was prompted to cry, "What is this, oil?" That it is. Though the voice carried laughter, the face was lacking in emotion. Its mouth opened wide. A tiny flame was visible in its depths. "You might be able to run, but I'll turn the brat into a torch. Unless you want to see that, come into the surveillance center." "What about the boy?" "I'll hold on to him. So long as you're still against me. It looks like he'll be useful." "You coward." Bounty hunters would give a play like this a round of applause. A thought unexpectedly shot through Iriya's mind. D. First part, end.